In today's world, addiction doesn't only mean drugs or alcohol. It has changed. Now it's often about habits we hardly notice, like constantly checking our phones, scrolling through endless feeds, or chasing quick bursts of pleasure. These behaviors don't leave physical scars, but they affect us deeply. They shape how we think, how we act, and what we focus on. Modern addictions are subtle. They don't hit like a punch. Instead, they slowly pull us in, often without us realizing. At the heart of these behaviors is a chemical messenger in our brain called dopamine. Dopamine drives motivation and rewards us when we do something pleasurable. It helped humans survive by encouraging actions like eating or socializing. But technology exploits this system. Every like, notification, or message triggers a small surge of dopamine. That creates a loop where we seek more of these quick hits. The problem is, dopamine doesn't measure value or meaning. It only signals pleasure. This leads to chasing immediate rewards rather than long-term goals. Imagine being trapped in a cage that you cannot see. This is the invisible cage. It's built from habits, distractions, and cravings that quietly limit your potential. The bars aren't metal but behaviors: checking social media, binge-watching, constant multitasking. You don't feel imprisoned because the cage looks like freedom. It's tempting and familiar, making it hard to step back and see the cost. Over time, this cage narrows your focus, pulls energy away from growth, and limits what you can achieve. This story is about how subtle addictions shape our lives today. Social media grabs attention and rewires the brain. Dopamine drives a need for instant pleasure, undermining patience and persistence. Instant gratification pulls focus away from long-term growth. Together, these forces quietly steal time, creativity, and willpower. Understanding this invisible cage is the first step to breaking free and unlocking true potential. Dopamine is often called the brain's reward chemical, but it's more accurate to see it as a signal that tells the brain something important is happening. When you eat, meet a friend, or achieve a goal, dopamine floods certain areas in the brain. This creates a sense of satisfaction and encourages repeating the behavior. Over millions of years, this system helped humans survive by reinforcing useful actions. In modern life, dopamine is triggered by many new sources. Smartphones and apps are designed to produce quick dopamine hits. Each notification, like, or message acts as a small reward, encouraging users to check back again and again. This process taps directly into the brain's reward circuits, creating a cycle of seeking more stimulation. The brain learns to expect these quick bursts, making it harder to focus on activities that don't provide immediate rewards. Scientific research shows this pattern is similar to traditional addiction. Studies have found changes in brain activity in people who spend excessive time on social media or video games, especially in areas linked to motivation and impulse control. These behavioral addictions alter brain pathways and affect decision-making. The problem isn't just time wasted, but the rewiring of the brain's natural reward system. Instant gratification is a key part of this process. When the brain receives a quick reward, it releases dopamine immediately. This creates a preference for fast, easy pleasure instead of waiting for long-term benefits. Over time, this reduces the ability to delay gratification. The brain becomes less responsive to activities that require patience, like studying, creating, or building skills. Attention spans shrink as a result. The brain craves constant novelty and stimulation, which shortens the time available for deep focus. Motivation suffers because tasks that don't offer immediate rewards feel unrewarding. The result is a cycle where distractions win and meaningful progress slows. Visuals showing brain chemistry changes reveal how dopamine pathways become overactive with repeated exposure to digital rewards. Feedback loops strengthen, making it difficult to break free from the pull of apps and notifications. This neurological pattern explains why stepping away from devices feels challenging, even when the desire to do so exists. Understanding this scientific foundation is crucial. It explains why these modern behaviors are addictive and why breaking free requires more than just willpower. The brain itself has been trained to seek quick pleasure, often at the expense of long-term potential. Recognizing this allows for more effective strategies to regain control and restore balance. People often say social media connects us, but many find themselves stuck, unable to stop checking their feeds. Take Sarah, for example. She began using social media to keep in touch with friends. Soon it became a routine she couldn't shake. Hours slipped away as she scrolled through posts, chasing the next update or like. She noticed her attention drifting from work and hobbies, but stopping felt impossible. This pattern isn't unique. Many share similar stories, starting with harmless use that grows into a daily habit, controlling their time and focus. Social media platforms are designed to capture and hold attention. Algorithms analyze behavior constantly, learning what content keeps users engaged the longest. Notifications arrive unpredictably, prompting quick responses. Likes and comments provide small rewards that encourage repeated checking. Endless scrolling ensures there is always something new to see, removing natural stopping points. This design creates a loop that pulls users deeper without clear breaks. The goal is simple: keep people looking, interacting, and consuming content. While social media offers connection, it often delivers something different. Online interactions can feel shallow or scripted. Genuine conversations are replaced by short messages and carefully chosen images. This creates a false sense of being close to others. Yet many users report feeling more isolated and anxious after using these platforms. Instead of building real relationships, social media can increase loneliness by emphasizing comparison and surface-level approval. These effects extend beyond emotions. Creativity suffers when attention is divided and distracted. Focusing on long-term projects becomes harder when the mind constantly seeks instant feedback. The drive for likes and validation shifts priorities from meaningful work to short-term approval. Ambitions lose clarity as attention scatters among notifications and feeds. Mental health issues, such as anxiety and depression, are linked to excessive social media use, adding another barrier to growth. From a philosophical standpoint, this raises questions about reality and experience. Are we trading authentic moments for curated images and stories? Social media allows us to present idealized versions of ourselves, but this creates distance from true connection. The digital world becomes a stage where appearance often matters more than substance. The pursuit of approval replaces genuine interaction, changing how people relate to themselves and others. Looking back in history, distractions have always existed. Books, theater, and newspapers once competed for attention, but the scale and speed of modern social media are unprecedented. Information floods in continuously, leaving little space for reflection or deep thought. This constant stimulation creates a new environment where focus is fragmented and patience is rare. The modern challenge is not just distraction, but the design of platforms engineered to keep users engaged at all costs. Social media is a tool with potential, but its current form often steals time and energy without users realizing. Understanding its mechanics and effects is the first step toward reclaiming control. Recognizing the difference between real connection and digital illusion can open the door to healthier habits and clearer priorities. The question remains, how can we balance the benefits of technology without losing ourselves in the process? In our daily lives, dopamine doesn't only come from social media. It's found in many places designed to provide quick pleasure. Watching an entire season of a show in one sitting, ordering fast food for immediate satisfaction, spending hours gaming or making impulsive purchases online, these actions all trigger dopamine releases. They offer instant rewards, often with little effort or delay. The problem is this constant pursuit of easy pleasure changes how the brain works. When the brain becomes accustomed to fast dopamine hits, patience starts to fade. Self-discipline weakens because the immediate reward feels more valuable than the long-term benefit. Tasks that require waiting, practice, or effort begin to feel less appealing. The natural ability to delay gratification erodes. Instead of working steadily toward goals, the mind prefers shortcuts and quick fixes. This shift affects more than just habits. It impacts motivation and growth. When the brain expects constant rewards, It struggles to find value in slow progress. Long-term ambitions suffer because the effort needed to achieve them doesn't provide immediate satisfaction. The consequence is a focus on short-term pleasure at the expense of lasting achievement. Philosophers have long emphasized the importance of delayed gratification. Stoicism, for instance, teaches that self-control and endurance build strength. It encourages accepting discomfort now for greater benefits later. Buddhist mindfulness stresses awareness and presence, helping individuals resist impulsive reactions and develop patience. Both philosophies recognize that true freedom comes from mastering desires rather than being controlled by them. Some people have managed to break free from the cycle of instant gratification. Consider Mark, who replaced hours of gaming with learning a new skill. At first it was difficult. He missed the quick dopamine boosts but stayed committed. Over time, he found satisfaction in progress and mastery instead of momentary pleasure. Another example is Lisa, who changed her diet to avoid fast food. By choosing slower, healthier meals, she retrained her brain to appreciate delayed rewards. These changes required effort and patience, but led to clearer focus and greater achievements. The dopamine chase affects many areas of life. Recognizing its influence allows for a shift in perspective. Understanding the value of patience and long-term effort helps rebuild self-discipline. Overcoming the urge for immediate pleasure opens the door to meaningful growth. It's a process that requires awareness and action, but the results can transform potential into reality. Addictions, especially the subtle ones, don't just take time. They affect the way people think and create. When attention is constantly pulled by distractions, the mind has less space for original ideas. Creativity requires focus and quiet moments where thoughts can connect in new ways. But when dopamine-driven habits dominate, those moments become rare. Critical thinking, which depends on sustained attention and deep reflection, weakens as well. Instead of questioning, analyzing, or solving problems, the brain prefers quick answers and easy distractions. Resilience, the ability to push through challenges, also suffers. Facing difficulty demands patience and mental strength, but when pleasure is only a tap away, it's easy to give up and seek instant relief. There is a cost to this addiction that goes beyond the hours lost. Every minute spent chasing distractions takes away from building skills, nurturing relationships, or pursuing meaningful goals. The brain and body both pay a price. Emotional energy drains as people constantly respond to notifications, cravings, or urges. This fragmented focus means less progress in areas that matter, whether in a career or personal growth. Over time, small losses add up, turning into a gap between potential and actual achievement. The impact goes deeper. Addiction influences how people see themselves and what freedom means. True freedom is often thought of as the ability to choose and act without constraint. Yet addiction, even when invisible, limits choice. It shapes identity by defining habits and priorities. When a person's life revolves around immediate rewards, their sense of self becomes tied to those habits. Self-worth can become dependent on external validation, like likes or purchases, rather than internal values or achievements. The cage narrows not just actions, but identity itself. Consider the story of Jason, a talented writer who struggled for years with excessive gaming. His addiction consumed hours each day, leaving little time for writing or reflection. He knew he had ideas and potential, but couldn't focus long enough to develop them. His work remained unfinished, his voice unheard. One day he decided to limit gaming gradually, replacing that time with short writing sessions. At first, progress was slow and difficult, but persistence paid off. Jason's creativity returned as his mind cleared from constant stimulation. His focus sharpened, and his writing improved. Over months, he published articles that gained recognition and rebuilt confidence. His story shows how the cage not only steals potential, but how reclaiming time and attention restores it. This example is not rare. Many face a similar challenge without realizing it. Addiction to quick rewards silently narrows the range of what is possible. It steals the space needed to grow, learn, and contribute meaningfully. Understanding the true cost helps recognize why breaking free is essential. It's not just about avoiding distraction, but about reclaiming the mind's full capacity. True freedom emerges when habits no longer control us, allowing potential to be fully expressed. This journey requires awareness, effort, and patience, but leads to a life closer to genuine possibility. Breaking free from the invisible cage begins with awareness. The first step is noticing how often you reach for your phone or scroll through apps without thinking. Tracking these habits shines a light on what might feel automatic. Writing down when and why you engage with distractions creates a clearer picture. This simple act reveals patterns and helps to take control back. Next comes setting boundaries. This can mean turning off notifications, designating phone-free times, or creating spaces where devices aren't allowed. A digital detox doesn't require quitting technology completely, but it calls for intentional use. Removing constant alerts reduces the pull for instant dopamine hits. It opens room to focus on other things without interruption. Patience and presence are skills that rebuild with practice. Mindfulness techniques help train the mind to stay in the moment instead of chasing the next quick reward. Simple exercises like focusing on the breath or observing surroundings without judgment develop this ability. Over time, being present becomes a natural part of life, reducing the urge for distraction. Restoring dopamine sensitivity involves shifting focus to meaningful goals. Instead of seeking constant pleasure, setting clear objectives that require effort and time creates deeper satisfaction. Working steadily toward a skill, project, or personal growth activates reward pathways in a balanced way. This process rebuilds motivation and self-discipline. Replacing addictive behaviors with new rituals helps solidify change. For example, taking a walk instead of checking social media, reading a book instead of binge-watching, or journaling thoughts rather than scrolling mindlessly. These small actions gradually form new habits that support focus and growth. Philosophically, this journey is about reclaiming agency. It's recognizing that addiction doesn't define identity or self-worth. Every moment offers a chance to rewrite the story. Choosing freedom means accepting responsibility for actions and creating new paths. It's not about perfection, but progress and self-awareness. Starting small is key. Simple habits like turning off the phone an hour before bed or setting a daily screen time limit begin the process. Consistent effort builds momentum and opens space for deeper change. The invisible cage may feel strong, but every step toward awareness and control weakens its hold. Freedom grows from these daily choices. It's a gradual shift from reaction to intention, from distraction to focus, and from habit to purpose. The path is personal but accessible, offering a way to reclaim time, attention, and potential. The first step is seeing the cage and deciding to move beyond it. We started by looking at a cage you can't see, a trap made of habits and distractions that quietly hold you back. It doesn't have bars or locks, but it limits how much you can grow, create, and focus. This invisible cage is built from constant cravings for quick pleasure, from the endless pull of notifications and the rush of instant rewards. It reshapes how the brain works, shifting attention away from what really matters. We saw how dopamine drives this cycle, pushing the brain toward what's easy and fast instead of what's meaningful and lasting. Social media, games, fast food, and endless scrolling all tap into this system. They offer small bursts of pleasure that slowly chip away at patience, willpower, and deep focus. Over time, this rewiring steals time, energy, and ambition, resources needed for real progress. But this story isn't just about loss. It's about understanding how these forces work so you can reclaim control. Breaking free begins with awareness, seeing the patterns, noticing when habits take over. Then, by setting clear limits and choosing presence over distraction, the mind slowly recovers. Patience returns, and the ability to pursue long-term goals strengthens. New routines replace old ones, building a foundation for growth rather than escape. Philosophers from different traditions remind us that true freedom comes from mastering desires, not being ruled by them. The path to breaking the cage is personal, but shared by many who have chosen to step out and build new lives grounded in intention and purpose. Your potential isn't lost. It waits beyond the barriers formed by habits and distractions. It waits for the moment you decide to act, to open the door, and step into the space where time, focus, and energy belong to you again. The journey isn't easy, but every step forward weakens the cage and strengthens your freedom. Now is the moment to reflect, to recognize where you stand, and to take that first step. Share this insight, challenge the distractions, and choose what builds you. The invisible cage can be opened. The question is, will you unlock the door? That's a question you really need to answer on your own. Thank you for watching, and if you like this kind of content, kindly leave us a like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more educational contents. Thank you.